And let this start out. This is my desktop. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a tutorial on Reason 4 here on how to make your own patches in Thor. And as you can see, I already have a huge patch here. This is a commentary, by the way, of what I'm doing. So here's a whole bunch of my patches. I created the low pixel patch and the pixel patch, which you cannot find stock in your Thor, but you can learn how to make your own patches, and I'm going to show you. This is my song I created. You can hear as that I've created these patches and made them unique, and they're some mouse gestures here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. I'm gonna hear a little bit of it. Skip ahead. So now you can hear the deviations of the patch and how deep they can be or how light they can be. So now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make your own patch. So go ahead and open up a new Reason file, then drag in Thor polyphonic sonic synthesizer. It might be Epic Poly, which is the default, so you go ahead and right click here and go to initialize patch, which is right there. Click it and you'll have a thing that sounds like this. It sounds default. It'll sound default instead of all different, so this is how it's going to be. Next up, its default is analog oscillator, so you're going to have to go ahead and click and change that to, well, we have a selection here. So the one I have here is wavetable, basic analog, and it'll sound like something like that. So you can go ahead and click to change it. I'm going to go to Logic OR, which is the one that I used for my pixel patch. Now what you can do, you can change the octave, you can change the time, the way it's organized, you can change it whether or not it has a fade, but I'm going to go ahead and put up the drive, which is basically how it sounds. You can change the frequency, the resonance, any other things. You can go to Shaper, which is probably one of the biggest things that changes your sound. I'm going to go ahead and go to Rap, which is my favorite one. Each one sounds different, so I'm going to go ahead and play those. The commentaries are. I won't be spot on every single time. So that's how it sounds. Yeah, it sounds more pixely, more gamey. So now you can change the sustain to make it sound even more gamey. Now let's go amp up the sustain a little bit. So it's gonna sound even more different. So I'm making it scale to the other one here. Putting up how long the note stays and the decay of it. So next, well, I'm showing you how deep the notes can be. That's a little bit of Mortal Kombat right there, if you couldn't tell. So now you can go ahead and do a couple things with that. You can add effects, which is what I'm going to do. Oh, actually, you can add a waveform to it, so that's how it's formed. Anyway, so now I'm going to a little bit of a different thing, which is showing you the effects that you can add to your song. I got unison here, chorus flanger. Both of those are really, really interesting effects you can play around with. So the chorus adds voices. It adds multiple sounds. It sounds like it's coming from more than one source. So this is how it sounds. A little weird, right? You can change the number of voices you hear from 4, 8, or 16. You can change how much it's affected with dry/wet. And you can change whether or not they're detuned or they're all going towards the same note, so it's easier to hear the differences, or it's more difficult to hear the differences. So we're gonna add the chorus flanger, which adds a little bit more techno-y type of stuff in here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, show you the difference. So that's how it sounds, you know. Right? Anyway. Yeah, it's cool. So that's how much it's the modulation of it. how much it's affected by the effect. But there's a little ding 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 ding. Now let's add the phaser. So this is gonna completely transform it. It's not gonna be 8-bit at all. It's like, ew, it's going all the way around. That's what I'm trying to show here. It's change how much it's or not, you know. We're gonna have some fun here, I guess. I haven't done it. You can change the width of the difference between the way it circles around, and you can change the modulation, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it sounds like with and without. Next I'm adding the vocoder, and without it being on equalizer, you can't hear any sound, at least with this. So now you can change the modulation of all these levels. It's really cool. You can basically tweak the sound as much as you want. I made it a 16 band. The higher you go, the higher quality sound you get. The lower you go, the lower quality sound you get. And you can change the levels here. That's what it sounds with unison and chorus flanger. Next, you can add Scream, which is one of my favorite tools. It's really cool. Adds some sound destruction in there, as it says, Scream 4 sound destruction kit. It's on Easy Fuzz right now, but we're going to go ahead and change that. We're going to instrument tweaks. We're going to experiment with a couple things. Square bass makes it sound a little weird, but it's not exactly what I was looking for with this sound, so you can go ahead and change a couple things, but I decided not to. I'm changing the parameters here. You could change the cut, but I didn't do anything like that, so now you can just hear how the frequency changes. So yeah, there we go. I'm changing the cut right there. So I went mid and high, low and high, and I cut down mid, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to go up and change mid a little bit and see how that sounds. Next, let's make a new window for Thor, because we're going to try something different. We're going to do experiment a little bit more with making your own type of sound. So open up the programmer, go to analog, change that, or keep it if you want. And at first I went to multi-oscillator, and you can hear it's a little different from normal sound. You can change the way the waveforms are made. It's really cool. It's nifty. It goes up and down. Okay, you can change, all these sounds. Fifth up, octave down, fifth. Fifth is probably the weirdest one of the three, but out of the preferences. But yeah, you can change the tune. Now I'm showing you how to do it. Let's change the noise. This is white noise. It creates white noise and a couple other types of noise. So this is the weirdest one in my opinion. You can make a lot of little digital sounds with it. And change the modulation and the carrier, and depending on that combination, you can go up to 32 with modulation, and I believe 32 with carrier as well. So you can have 32 different for each. So that's some of the changes we have here. Sounds a little like a Mario game, that's what I thought. So, I don't know. I went to phase mod oscillator. Now you can change the waveforms here as well. But what you can do with it is really, really nifty. That's as far as you can go on the second sine wave, the ending sine wave. But you can go to 3 different preferences that you can't do it on the second one, on the first preference choice. So that one kind of looks like Pac-Man. I thought this sounded pretty darn cool, to be honest. So now if you want to add another one, you may notice there's multiple oscillators, but you can't hear it until you click the number up here. And now it sounds a little techno. And I changed the sine wave so it goes up and down, up and down. You can modify the way the wave works. You can make it closer in the front or closer in the back. You can also change the bounds, which one you want to hear most. Yeah, and you can add a little bit of change of frequency, up or down, up or down. The drive, of course, is the sound. I'm gonna go ahead and change the shaper a little bit up and down. I don't think I chose rap for this one. Without rectify sounded pretty cool. Rap had a little bit too much resonance in the background. You can change the drive, which is how much is affected. So I went back to rectify here and I left it there. And now I can add a third one if I want to. I can go to I added another phase modulation on accident. I went back to FM pair. I didn't like that sound. It was a little odd. So I left it. I went to multi-oscillator again. This is how it sounds with it. It's pretty cool. You can change the type of it sounds and changes. I think I went to 1B. Yeah, and then I started changing the sustain, the filter sustain, and the amp. A couple of amps, I think. You can make it kind of sweep in, which is really cool. Yep, you can make a lot of changes with these knobs here. Switches, whatever you call it. Now I'm gonna show you something I didn't before, which I had completely forgotten about. Now I'm adding, which is I was still playing with this. I don't know why I went over a little bit too much playing with that. Now you right click right there by filter 2 bypass and go ahead and go to create effect. You can add effects to these. Some of them are weird, some of them are cool, but they all, depending on what you want to do, you can create some cool effects, or add some cool effects. And if you want, you can create them later, but I'm not too good on that, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple effects here. Yep, these are some of the cooler effects, some of the weirder effects. You can change it and go to reverb, which opens up the R700 reverb machine or programmer, and you can add some different types of stuff. And this fidelity opens up the screen, which was an accident. So I'm gonna stay on effects here, and I'll show you what you do. All these are weird. Now autofade, that sounded pretty damn cool, so I'll leave that in there. Yeah, so this is basically the end of my tutorial. See you later. Just choose the name. Yeah, I'm just gonna change